Anyways, welcome. Today we're talking about marketing and portfolio building, all the fun things everyone likes to talk about. First, I have some announcements. Most importantly, the Game Jam is this weekend. Woo! So starts at 7 p.m. sharp. If you're not there at the very beginning, that is okay. At 7, we will announce the theme, and we will announce the grading rubric and all that stuff. And then I will also post that on Discord, so if you're not there at the beginning, no biggie. If you want a team, I would recommend showing up a little bit beforehand. You can also talk to people in the Discord and the Game Jam chat if you want to do that beforehand, but otherwise most of the time it's just fine just to show up and find a team if you don't have one already. And then we'll probably do a movie night, as usual, following the Game Jam. I will put out a vote for that after the Game Jam. So let's move on. Marketing. Yeah. What is marketing to you, Jimmy?
Come on, Jimmy.
Great. Yes, Jeff.
I hate when you make trailers that are cool looking videos.
Advertising.
Part of it, yes. Advertising, yes.
Appeal. Like,
Yeah, you have to make your game appealing.
Yeah, to like
That's a big part of it.
your target audience, whether it be more seasoned players or more, newer players. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Target audience is a biggie. So, what is marketing really? Pretty much everything you just said, but like harder. So, I kind of broke this down into 4 steps, and this is just from research and personal experience. Number 1, first part of marketing is just getting people to see your game. If you're making a game, you probably think it's really cool, but like no one else is going to know that if they never see it. So you have to make them at least see it somehow, post it online, show it to your mom, whatever. And then you got to get people to want your game. It's one thing for them to see it and think, oh, that's kind of cool, but like, if they don't really think it's cool enough or they're not going to download or buy it, then like, what's the point of even marketing? And this is kind of the harder step. And even once you get past that point, then you got to get people to play your game. Getting them to actually join the game and play it, not just pick it up for at one session. You got to want them to keep coming back, which leads into getting people to keep playing your game. So a lot of this goes into the game design, which I'm not going to talk about specifically too much. But these are things to think about and things to practice. I don't have any concrete examples, but this is generally what you want to strive for. So, is marketing necessary? Yes, very much so. So the only reason why you would ever not want to market is if you don't want anyone else to play your game. And hopefully that is not the case for you. So marketing is a huge part of game development and game design, or just game development in general. Because when you're making a game, you're not just making a game. If you want to publish it online and you want people, if you want to live off of this, you're not just developing the game. That's the fun part, making the art, making the music, coding or whatever. But you're also running a business. Your game is a product, and you have to market it in that way. It's different from you selling a toy at Walmart, but you got to make sure you sell it to people. So if you want to market your game, you have options, which is the nice part. The first one is the kind of obvious one. You can do everything yourself. So this is when it comes to posting on social media, maybe paying people to have some legitimate advertising, reaching out to other people that do YouTube or whatever. Those are some of your options. You can also get a publisher. So what publishers are really good at is marketing. They're good at a lot of other stuff. They're just a great resource in general. If you don't know what publishers do exactly, they basically they're these established companies. They've already made a bunch of games. They funded a bunch of games. And you can reach out to them, say, hey, here's my game, pitch the game. If they like it, they might offer you some money or some services in return of you giving them part of the profit that you make from the game, which is really great because if you suck at marketing or don't want to do it, these guys will do it for you on the condition that you give them, 10, 20% of your revenue from the game. So it's kind of a trade-off. It would be more successful if they market it for you, especially like established companies, like if EA is saying, oh, play this game, and they put it on TV or whatever, like a lot of people are going to see it. So, but that's just a choice. And your last option is to not market it at all. Would not
Not a good
recommend it.
idea.
Yeah, exactly. So here's some tips to make marketing a little bit easier, just in general when it comes to making your game. First of all, make a game that looks good and have it look fun, and try to market it that way. Looking good just comes to like being polished. I mean, yeah, sometimes you get excited, you want to publish your game online, and maybe you're just starting off on it and there's still some kinks in it, which is fine if you're doing like a devlog or something. But if you want to seriously like advertise, I would recommend waiting till the game is in a little more complete state, but you don't want to wait too long either. It's really hard to pick a good time is the right time to start seriously marketing, because you want to get to a point where it starts to look like a real game, but you don't want to wait till it's too late either, because you need to, the more time that you have to get people riled up to want to buy your game, the better, because then you're going to get more sales ultimately. If you wait till it's too late, you're not going to have enough time to get people excited for it, and then they'll miss the kickoff, which is usually when you get your most sales. And if you do it too early, it might lose steam. People might be disinterested. So, and also try to make a game that content creators can easily play. Most games are this way, but like, I don't know. If you'd run into the situation, you would know it. If it's a single player game, that's great. They can play it with their chat and stream it or whatever. Multiplayer game, they can play with other people. But maybe just like little things like don't display their Steam usernames or something. And this is just so that, like if you're doing a multiplayer game, just so that if they want to play with other people, they can, and not run into problems like that. So, also try to make something unique. This is just a big point of making games in general. Your game's not going to sell if you just make a clone of another game. You got to have something that makes you stick out. What?
Well, Brawlhalla.
What about
Tower.
Brawlhalla?
It's just a clone of Smash.
Yeah, that's true. But that's a big company doing it.
Pizza Tower.
No.
Pizza Tower is unique. Their art style is the unique
I
part.
mean, yeah, but like gameplay is entirely based off Borderlands 4.
Well, yeah, the gameplay is, but the art style is unique. Like that is their unique aspect of it. There's not many games that do art like that.
I guess you're right.
Here's an example that you're talking, Mighty Number 9.
I don't know what that
That's-
is.
It's basically Mega Man, and it flies.
Yeah,
Well, yeah.
because people will see your game and they'll be like, oh, it's just like this other game, but why would I play it? Because the other game's better.
What about Battles of
Draws you
Ether?
in, but nothing makes you stay.
I've heard of that too, but I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Right, it's a Smash. Battles of Ether.
Yeah, but what's more popular?
Rival.
The only plus to it is that
Rubber
it's-
Hose Rampage.
I also don't know what that is.
Exactly.
Okay, good point.
It's just like a bootleg Cuphead clone.
But yeah, making something unique, and it doesn't. Your entire game doesn't have to be unique. It just has to be some part of it. Maybe some large mechanic that's a primary part of the game. The art style, the music. Maybe like Lethal Company. The reason why that's so popular is because of the sound in it. I mean, also the multiplayer, but like the sound system is not. I don't want to say that is completely groundbreaking, but it is very well done.
Yeah.
Like people have done proximity before, but not in the way that Lethal Company. The Lethal Company, it plays into like if there's a mob on your head, like it muffles it, and
Or like down a hallway.
down a hallway, like yeah, it's done very well done. So I mean, there's been like mods on different games for that, but not in a core game. So it's just that like you wouldn't even think of that. Maybe developing the game, they didn't even think about that, but well, maybe they did. I don't know. Yeah, so I have
Yo.
example Angry Birds.
Pete.
Angry Birds did a really great job at not necessarily content creators because this game is a little dated, but it looked good. It looked fun, especially for a mobile game. It was free. It was was it free? No, it was like $1. I think it was like $1.
The original was like $1.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like that's like not much, and it was unique. Like there were games before that you could slingshot into things, but this was like the first game to really take advantage of that. You know, each bird had different powers, whatever. So, and then Pico Park is another game that I don't know if you've heard of it or not. Hopefully, maybe. This was really popular with streamers and YouTubers for a while, just because of the multiplayer aspect, and it was nice and easy for the streamers to play, the content creators. So, I have played this game myself, and it's like okay, but it's just fun to watch people play it. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So next, you want to study the market, like what Garen said. You got to know your target audience. First thing you want to look at is the different genres that your game falls into. And you want to look at not only like the head genre, but also the subgenres. Because say that you're making like a puzzle game. Okay, you're not going to look at every puzzle game and take stuff from that, because puzzle is a huge category. It can be anything from like Portal 2 to Candy Crush. Yeah, those are both puzzle games, but they're not anything like each other. So you got to look at that subgenre, and you got to look at what people like in those games, and how you can build on that and maybe make it a little unique as well. Yeah, look at what similar games are doing in those genres. And yeah, how can you be better?
Well, I could be a Chad.
Yeah, you got to be a Chad in the game development world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Not you.
He's just not like me
But
for real.
it's because the reason why you gotta look at subgenres and stuff, like when people are playing a game that they really like playing like say that they really like Mega Man, and then they want to play a game that's in the similar genre. If it doesn't have like the core features of Mega Man, like the same feel, I mean, they might play it, but it's not as likely. So if you get those like core parts of it, but still make it your own game, then it's still a lot of fun. That's how you drag people away.
how Stardew Valley was made. They just played Harvest Moon and they're like, I really like this, but I want to change a lot of it. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how a lot of games go.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah, because I think I talked about this in another meeting. With Stardew Valley and the Harvest Moon or whatever, and then also like Infominer and Minecraft. Like, you know, he liked the sandbox part of it, but he didn't want to do the like fighting part of it. So he made it into a pure sandbox game, and it's very similar. He took the fun part of it, added some unique stuff. So. So, also part of marketing, if you're doing this yourself, I'm just assuming you're going to do it yourself, because finding a publisher is, you can go that route. It's definitely, I'm not going to say anything like bad about it, but it's just a different choice, and you have to stick with it. And I've also never done that. So, but if you go like marketing, you have to, or if you go with a publisher, you have to finish your game. You have to, you got to meet deadlines, because they are expecting you to pay them back. So it's an investment, and it can be stressful at times too, especially if your game doesn't do well. But the goal is that they help you do well. So, but if you're doing it yourself, you want to build some social media accounts. I assume all of you in here are not famous game developers, so try to make accounts that are tailored to the game itself, with one exception being if you're famous. The reason for this is just because, like, when you're first starting out, people don't care about you at all. It's just how it is. They care about your game. So if you're making a really cool game, and people end up really liking it and buying it, then that's awesome. They're going to follow your game, and they will as a consequence, they will learn about you as a developer. And then when you go to make your next game, it's a lot easier to be like, use your credibility, because you don't have any credibility now, but you would be if you had made a successful game. You can use that credibility to keep moving on. So try to post regularly as well. It's really easy to make a social media account and be like, yeah, this is so cool. Then you post a couple pictures and a video, and then you just like forget about it for a month.
Yeah.
Then people like just unfollow or forget about it. So you want to make sure you post regularly. It depends on the media platform as well. If you're on YouTube, it doesn't have to be as often. But if you're on like Twitter, maybe you post once a week minimum, probably more than that. Whereas YouTube can be farther apart, so it doesn't matter. And try to put effort into the posts. Make it look like you're trying. Don't just like post a screenshot of some code you wrote, because nobody's going to care to look at that. But if you try to make it look nice and pretty, like that also helps it blow up as well, help you be more successful. Now, is that always going to happen? No, but it could. And try to engage with users as well. It's really important to be able to, talk to people, get their feedback, and also know that you're listening to them. Like if you're there answering comments and stuff, like they know you're listening, they know that you're active in the community, and that makes people really happy and excited because they feel like they're actually part of the process as opposed to just a viewer. So I have an example of this guy, Magic Dave. Dave Frampton. So this guy made a game, Sapiens, recently. His 2 games before this, he made the Chopper game on iOS when iOS was first a baby. Yeah, the whatever it was. And then he also made the Blockheads, if you've heard of that from like a while ago. Yeah, so this is the Blockheads guy. I'm on his beta testing community, which is pretty cool, but I wanted to show his YouTube channel because I thought it was like a great example. He does a lot of devlogs. He did especially when they were first starting. He posts like once a month. Now it's gotten a little farther apart just because he's working on bigger stuff. But like you can go into almost any one of these videos and you can scroll down and like he replies to people and gives us feedback on whatever, like they talk about something and he responds to it. And you can find this in all of his, pretty much any YouTube video you pull up. So it's just like a great example of him engaging with the community. And like, yeah, he's already been established, but even like if he was starting out, you would have done the same thing just because it really gets people excited. So like, oh my gosh, this guy that I like just replied to me because you're basically a mini celebrity. So yeah.
Yellow snow art. You missed it, but it was like right there.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't read any of this. I just clicked on a random video.
What's with the yellow snow?
I don't know. It's probably in the game somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So after you've posted it on social media, how do you keep expanding online? Once you have like a stable small game, definitely try to reach out to small YouTubers and streamers. This is just a screenshot of random people, so don't look at them. You can. But you want to try to reach out to people that are smaller, but not like too small, to stream your game. If they do, especially if they review games and have that already existing community, because they have people that might be interested in your game. Maybe try to find a YouTuber that does like, if you're doing like making a racing game, maybe they play a lot of racing games. You can reach out to them and say, hey, I made this game. I think your channel's really cool. I'd love if you would be able to play it for your users or whatever. And that's just like, that's great because it's playing to your target audience. You want people that care. If you just give it to a generic one, that's okay too, generic game reviewer, but you might not get as much of a overturn. But you also don't want to give it to somebody that has like 2 subscribers because not many people are going to see it. 1,000 is better. The higher is usually better, but the higher you go, it's also more likely for them to just ignore you or not even play it at all.
So you mean something? So you mean something like this?
Maybe. Oh, because he was keep bugging him? That's funny. Yeah.
And then he finally did it, and he had nothing to say.
Is that it's not only good to connect to people that are like streaming and that are like just looking at your game, but also make friends with other developers. Because what we do a lot of times is that then you eventually like do collaborations, and when you do that, then you like rise together.
Yep, I'm going to talk about that too. Yeah, and keep posting online and be active with yourself and with others and with other streamers and stuff, or not streamers, developers. So, yeah. Some tips for a few social medias, and this is just from personal experience, lurking, stories I've read. Starting with X or Twitter or whatever.
No one calls it X.
Yeah, whatever. Twitter. Twitter is really good for talking to other indie developers. I'm gonna be honest. It kind of sucks for engagement. Like people hardly ever like or respond or retweet anything, even if you get like 100 views, which sucks. But it's got a really well established indie community. So if you want to reach out and connect with other developers, like Jimmy said, it's a great place for that.
Come on, Jimmy.
Yeah, and also reaching out to other content creators, because usually everyone has a Twitter account. So it's fine. You don't have to use Twitter. Yeah, this is just like if you want to have that available to you, if you want to be able to reach or connect with other game developers and stuff, like you could get a Twitter account and then.
You don't have Twitter?
It's hard to, when it comes to social media, it's hard to say which is the best. Honestly, when it comes to marketing, you don't have to do every social media site, and you shouldn't. Just pick like a few of them, ones that you think are going to do well, or ones that you like, and just stick with it. Like, it's better for you to post consistently and have good content on 3 sites than it is to have kind of sparse content on like all of them. So yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, YouTube. If you're a game developer, you should have a YouTube account. That is the one exception. YouTube is really great for posting development logs, videos of stuff that you've made, and it's also really great because you can make it public and then you can share links with other people and they can watch it in their own time. Video games are a visual medium for the most part. I mean, there's also audio, which YouTube covers both of those. So YouTube is a great asset for that. And it also has lots of community stuff built in. You can respond to comments, you can post community posts, whatever. Twitch is also good for streaming and getting like live feedback from people, and great for community engagement. Same with like YouTube and stuff. YouTube has comments, that's great, but Twitch is in real time, so you can have conversations with people as opposed to just back and forth messaging a few times. And it's also cool to have like that feedback or real-time development that people can see. Instagram is kind of good for like art and visual stuff. It has decent engagement for the most part. It's definitely, my ringer's on, that's cringe. It's definitely better than Twitter when it comes to engagement, but it's just a different platform. Reddit, as far as I know, is, you would think it's great because everything is split up into like subgenres, or like, whatever they're called, subreddits. But like if you want to post your game on the gaming subreddit, they'll just remove it and ban you because like they don't like that stuff apparently. So like Reddit is kind of a really crappy place to try to advertise stuff. I know, it makes no sense. They only want people talking about like AAA games. They don't want you talking about your indie game. It is so lame. And then you post on the indie subreddits and they're like, this is for development only, and then like you get banned from them too. So it's like, where do you advertise? It's dumb. But if you do manage to get a post on Reddit, you can get good engagement. It's the same as like YouTube, people can put comments and recommend stuff. So Facebook is the same as Instagram, but it's for old people. So if you're making like a mobile game that's targeted towards old moms, there you go, post on Facebook. Yeah, like Candy Crush, exactly.
Candy Crush Extreme Edition.
But if you want to go for a younger audience, TikTok is definitely a great place for that. It's great for mobile games just because it's on the phone too. I mean, I guess all of these are, but also with TikTok, what I've seen just from other people that I've met is that it's a really great place to it's, as far as all of these go, it's a lot easier to blow up than other ones just because their algorithm is more versatile. However, it's really hard to keep traction. Like you can get millions of views and like maybe get like not even 100 people to like follow your game. So yeah, that's just a lot of work, and you got to have a lot of videos to blow up before you get any stuff from there. But it's still worth posting if you think that's something you want to do. So.
Isn't TikTok bad?
Yeah, with the whole government thing, it's probably going to get banned unless an American company buys it out. So it is possible that TikTok goes away, but I doubt it. Yeah, somebody's gonna bite and grab it up.
Is anyone really gonna care though?
Yes, a lot of people are. I was well, I know that. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody's gonna buy it. I don't know who. Nobody's like really stepped up and said, "Yeah, I'm buying that." It's like everyone's like, "Oh, I might buy it." Yeah, and then turns it into Vine. That would be hilarious.
It makes it even worse.
Yeah, it's really expensive. I don't think he has the capital for that because he lost it all on Twitter. So it might have to be somebody else this time
We
around.
lost it all on Funny Bird app.
I'm surprised like Facebook hasn't jumped on it.
I think Facebook's not owned by too.
Oh, because they're too big already?
Yeah. they're too
That
big.
would make sense.
They're owned by Meta, which owns like Instagram.
Which owns a ton of
Threads,
stuff.
and
Yeah, they're
but-
huge. Yeah.
How would this work?
Discord's not big. They don't make enough money.
Yeah, I don't think Discord's not big enough. Yeah, it's.
What about YouTube?
Oh, Discord? Yeah. So in my opinion, Discord isn't really a social media, but it is something I'll talk about actually. So Discord is really great for communities. It's a little different than social media because you're not posting for everybody to see. Like they have to be in the Discord server in order for them to see it. Whereas like if you post something on X or Instagram and it's as long as it's public, everyone's gonna have a chance to see it. Discord though is something that you should have in combination with all of these. Like if you post YouTube videos, like say, here's my Discord channel, please join it. Because then they can be involved with the community. They can talk to you directly through Discord. It's just like really great to build that community and get those connections with your people that you're playing with. Especially if you're just starting out. Like you got to do a lot more manual work when you're just starting out because you got to do everything. So, and people really also appreciate it when you take time out of coding or whatever just to talk to them. So, yes, Discord definitely do that. Especially if you're serious about it. Try not to be like me and like make a Discord server and then not finish the game because then people are really disappointed. But if you're serious about it, then make a Discord server.
What game is it?
This one.
Wait, which one?
The Void Above. I tried making a Minecraft clone.
Based.
Yeah, but I didn't have the technical skills for that. Now I could probably do that in my sleep, but back then I did not.
You should finish it while you're awake.
I could probably do it in a game jam. Wait a minute.
That's what you're doing.
I spent 16 hours awake.
Yeah, I can make a YouTube video on that.
I spent 24 hours making a game, no sleep, not clickbait. It's like a Mr. Beast video.
All right, so what are some things to avoid when it comes to marketing? Anybody have any ideas?
Copyright
That is true. You should avoid that in general.
Don't advertise too early or too late in your game's development. Like if your game is just getting started, you can make a little teaser maybe. But if
Mhm.
the game's essentially done and it's releasing the next
Yeah, it's
day,
too late too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
too
that's
late.
not like the end of the world if you do something like that.
Well, yeah, but like it's
But-
better just to space things out.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you don't ever want to do is give up. If you stop marketing, it's over. Like people stop caring. Marketing is a constant uphill battle with no end in sight. Like you are just constantly pushing a boulder up a hill until the game is over, until you're done working on the game. Unless it completely blows up like Minecraft. I mean, even then they still advertise all the time. So it's like they're still doing marketing because it's one thing like if somebody buys your game and they play it, that's great, but then like they might stop playing it for some reason, and if you're not marketing at all, they'll probably never hear about it unless their friends talk about it, and even then you can't depend on that. So you got to keep marketing, and maybe they see it and they're like, oh, a new update came out for Minecraft, like I'm gonna go back and play it. That might just get them to come back and keep playing that game. It's that fourth part of that marketing, 4 steps. So. Yeah, it is a lifestyle. Yeah, it's a huge part, man. You got to get people to keep playing your products. So, another thing, try to avoid involving your personal life in your marketing. There's too many times on Twitter I follow people because they start doing they post cool game development stuff, and then all of a sudden they're posting about how like their mom yelled at them and they had to like run away or something, and it's like that's great, but I do not care. Some people will push it off. But if I'm following, especially if I'm following an account for a game, not just them, if it's their personal account, I give some leeway. But if they're if this is some new game and then they post about something like that, unless it's guys, my mom's in the hospital, I got to take some time off to address that. That's fine because that's interrupting the development, and that's also really horrible. But if it's just something else, it's not relevant. So try not to avoid stuff like that. And also try to avoid talking about the game. It's really easy to say, oh, I made this new feature, it's so cool, but don't show it. And people aren't going to believe you unless they see it. Plus, humans in general really like visual feedback. They like seeing things themselves. It's a lot easier to watch a video and get enthralled by it than it is to just read somebody's paragraph that they posted. So try to record videos, show actual concrete stuff, and get people hyped up. Don't forget, be honest with yourself. Your game isn't the coolest thing in the world, and it never will be, because no game is ever going to be like that. There's always a bigger fish. But if you're honest with yourself, you can try to make it the best you can, target to the right people, and it'll do well. Making a game isn't just a game, especially if you're trying to get other people, if you want to make this a lifestyle and want to make this a career, it's a business. It's more of a business than it is a game, honestly. Like, the game is just the product. It'd be like if you're making a toy or making soap or something. Like, yeah, soap is cool, but most of it is you trying to publish your game, trying to sell your game. It's all about running the business. And get it to the right people, target audience. So, any questions about marketing?
Do you need to take a business class for that?
You don't need to. If you're just by yourself, like, yeah, YouTube videos for sure, because people have done this before. Look up stuff about indie games. There's a lot of great videos. I'll actually talk about one later, which you should watch. I'll talk about that later. So,
Number 15.
yeah, not that one. Okay, so let's look at some portfolio building. So, marketing is all about trying to get your game out there, but portfolio building is about getting you out there. So this isn't as important if you're making your own game, your own company, because you don't need to portfolio build. Nobody really cares about you. They just care about the game. But if you're trying to get into the AAA industry, they care about you. They want to see what you've done. They want to see what stuff you've made. Your schoolwork is not going to cut it. You got to do more than your schoolwork to get into the AAA industry. Because there's people that even go to school in Utah for game design and they still don't get into the industry. It's still only like a 20% turnover. So it's all about, do you do this stuff in your free time? Do you like doing it? You don't have to be the best at it, but you got to prove that you care, because that's what they want. So places to portfolio build. I already showed off one on YouTube. GitHub is really good for coding stuff. So if you do a lot of programming, definitely try to sparse up your GitHub page a little bit. Employers look at it, especially not even in just game development positions, also just into engineering. Because typically, even if you apply to a job in AAA industry, you're usually like a gameplay engineer, so you're still an engineer. They will look at your GitHub page to see, like, do you post stuff on there? Do you post things that are relevant? Or just in general, like, do you have hobbies? And then also, you can make your own website. I put the GoDaddy logo on here. But having your own website is also cool. You can post stuff that way too. So I have some examples. Probably won't show all of them. I already showed the Magic Dave one. The speaker that we had.
Oh, Dave Bananas would be cool.
Yeah, the speaker that we had a couple weeks ago, Ben.
Yeah.
Yes, I also want to show his YouTube page as well, because he posts a lot of devlogs, posts them pretty regularly, more or less, about his games. And it's a really cool portfolio. Like, if he ever wanted to go to a AAA industry, he could link them this somehow, and it's really cool for them just to you look at it and you can see, like, he's done a lot of stuff. It looks very professional. These thumbnails look nice. The gameplay itself is also really good. And it's because he's been constantly posting and stuff over the course of a few years. So it really adds up. And the sooner you start on this, the better. If you think it's too late, it's not too late. Just start. Just got to do it. But yeah, for GitHub, there's two things you can do with GitHub. You can make a personal website. I don't know if you don't know about this already, let me enlighten you. So GitHub allows for every person to have one free website that is directly tied to your username. So as long as your username is professional, like mine is just mtaliot, it's basically like github.something/mtaliot, and then people can go to that website and it just hosts a free website for you. You can put HTML, CSS, JavaScript on there, make a nice little website. If you want a free website to portfolio build, this is perfect. You just have to do a little bit more manual work than you would on a different website. But you could, ask ChatGPT to make you a website or just find a template online. Templates are easiest way to go. but that's just one thing to talk about. But if you want to look at the actual GitHub page themselves, which is what I was talking about, if you don't know who this guy is, he's working on Minecraft right now, but he made the ENTT framework, which is like the entity component system that Minecraft uses for all of their everything but Java editions. So all the Bedrock editions are all based on this, and he's the guy that made it. But he's got like a nice little picture. I actually don't know what this is from, but he introduces himself, what sort of stuff he does, and then he has pinned projects. The pinned projects are the important part because honestly, people probably won't look at most of your projects. They'll probably just look at the ones you have pinned. So if you don't have projects pinned, you should try to pin some. I think this is his personal website that I was talking about. Yeah, it's his username.github.io. And then he also has some other stuff that he's made. Obviously, ENTT is his like big thing, but he's got other stuff that he's made as well. Those are all pinned. So if you look at his profile, you can see, okay, this guy is serious. He codes a lot of cool stuff. This one here, the Cherno, this guy used to work at EA. He does a lot of game engine development. He's got a whole YouTube channel for it. Very cool. His isn't as like populated, like he didn't talk about himself, doesn't have a picture. This is probably more typical of somebody that just does programming, which this is fine too. But he just has like some projects that he has done that are all pinned. And then he's got like his social links down here and stuff as well. So. And it looks professional. He doesn't have like a goofy username or something. And then self-plug, here's mine, which is very similar to the last one. I have my name, I have some projects pinned that I've worked on or have been working on. And my socials are also linked over here, so.
I don't think I can put my
Well, I have like my game development ones separate from my personal, so. Yeah, so if you want to make a website, these are a little more advanced because people have done some cool stuff with them. Websites are usually just good in general. If you're doing game development, you don't have to make a website. You could just use a YouTube page, like that's probably acceptable as well. But websites allow you to have more customization. If you want to like show that you're really good at web development, definitely make a website. If you just do game development in general, you could just do something cool. So it's just somewhere to post like, here's me, here's stuff I've worked on, this is stuff I want you to care about. I mean, some of these are even in an interactive resume. It's basically just a resume, but just a different way of showing it off. A more fun and interactive way. I actually forgot what each of these are, but I know I clicked on all of them, so. Like this guy, it starts in with a video. And it has a bit of an animation that shows everything. And then like you're basically just instantly glued to the screen, right? You're just seeing all this stuff that's already set up to start playing as soon as you enter the web page, and it just shows off everything. And then there's a bit of an about me, so if you get bored of the video, you can scroll down and see all the other stuff that they have highlighted, some other the highlighted projects as well as some other professional stuff they've worked on. And so even the important part too, don't just post what you've worked on unless you made the entire thing. If you've worked on part of something, make sure you state like I worked on these parts of it, just so that like if somebody's looking to hire you, they can see like, oh, they did player logic with a state machine. Like that's something we do at our company. We want people with that. So. Oh, this is the same one apparently. Really? I think this is goofed. Oh well. So this one's a lot more basic, which is fine. This one's also pretty good. It doesn't have any like TikTok animations on here, but you can see that they put some work into it. You can click on these different tabs, and each one of them have like a different little story of something they've worked on. And this is probably something that's more my speed if I made something like this. Just a way to show off like some clips of things that they've worked on. They even put like links to download it. So it's just really cool to be able to click through it and visually see everything. Like I said, show, don't tell. It's really easy to talk about what you've done, but this is actually showing stuff as well.
So what did he do? What was his involvement with Flappy Bird?
It was the bird.
Flappy Bird Advance.
Oh, part of it's the game.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I think I've seen this actually.
Yeah. Most of.
It sucks.
And this one was really cool too. So this one you scroll.
Oh, I've seen this one. Yeah.
You scroll and you basically just walk through a level. You don't actually have any control other than forwards and backwards. Oh wait, can I just like? But yeah, it shows that he lives in New York, likes NBA. Level 2. And then this is like where this is like the resume part. They show off all their skills, and apparently this just represents like how good they are at it or something. You know, HTML, my favorite programming language. Some other stuff that they've done, 3D stuff. And this just, whoop, okay. And then they have experience. And this is the more of the resume part. This is places they've worked. And then they have like what sort of stuff they worked on. They did like a lot of animation at this place. Fox News, they did a lot of more graphic design. Now they're a freelancer. And then this part is cool too, it goes up. So this is all a bunch of awards they've gotten in order. And then you get to the end and there's like a contact in case they want to like reach out to them. So I think that's pretty cool. And all of their socials as well that are nicely tied into there. But yeah, there's also this link if you want to check out more of these. You can just search like cool online personal websites or something, and you get all that stuff pulled up. So yeah, this is the YouTube video that I recommend watching. I'm going to show the YouTube channel. I'm not going to watch it right now, but Going Indie published a video, why 96% of indie games fail. So you talked about how games fail, why they fail, and it all boils down to poor marketing for the most part. Like, because as long as your game isn't a complete copy of something or just utterly boring or broken, like the game just doesn't work, like as long as it is a complete game, it should sell. It's just because it wasn't marketed properly or in the right way. So this is a really cool video. Highly recommend you watch it. It's very insightful. I will post this in the slides. I might even post this link separately from the slides in the Discord. So, yes.